Hi, this is Hannah, and I'm going to do a painting based on the real-life phenomenon of atmospheric perspective. Atmospheric perspective is something we see in real life. Here are pictures I've taken recently. You can definitely see that as hills kind of progress further away, they get lighter and get more blue. So our brain knows that those trees on those hills are green or they're brown or whatever, but in actuality they are blue. They match the color of the sky. This is something that the Renaissance artists were really great at conveying. You can definitely see it in the Mona Lisa, and in this painting here, definitely that color of the sky mixing in with the land as it gets further away. So here the color of my sky, my air, my sky is blue with a little bit of green kind of in there, and I'm using lots of white, trying to keep it really light. And I changed the filter in this part to black and white so that you can see the different colors, or the different values rather, that I'm going to be adding in here. I could have gone a little bit lighter with that first hill. It could have looked a little more foggy, but basically the idea is you just want one shade above a one, or like a really light shade first, and then each hill, as it progresses further and further towards you, gets a little bit more dark in value. And you definitely want the color of the sky to be mixed in with the land first. So I feel like another mistake or little error is, and when you see it back in color, is there's not a lot of that kind of greenish sky in that hill in the back, but it definitely is blue further away, and then when I start getting colors, it'll become more and more green as it progresses further towards you. So I think right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different values. Mixing the paints really isn't the hard part. For me, it's planning out the undulation of the hills and trying to get creative, and how much is it going to overlap, and how much am I going to cover that hill from before. Am I going to cover 2 or 3 hills, different spaces of hills, or just one? But yeah, it's just got to be kind of creative with the different slopes so that it doesn't get too repetitive. And I feel like this is probably the last really blue kind of hill before I start getting into green. So I'm about halfway down my canvas, and I'll start mixing green into my blue before I add texture and everything. I learned about atmospheric perspective in college. First, I think it was in my history class, and then I took a design and color class. I took design and color 2. And I loved that class. I learned so much. The teacher would just kind of let us look outside and observe the world and see what colors we are seeing, see how we can respond to what's being seen, and how to convert it to paints. I feel kind of bad for that big layer where that really wet paint was just put on. So but it is kind of fun. You kind of see the paint dry, and it's getting more and more less wet, and that glare starts to go away. So you're gonna see some paint drying in this video. So exciting. So yeah, I have it in black and white one more time so you can see all the different progressions of values. It's definitely a lot darker in the foreground, and here I'm adding some trees. I just sort of flattened my brush or squashed it down and added some paint to try and add some trees into the mix and a little more texture. You see where I'm applying the really wet paint, and it kind of glares because of the light hitting it, and then it goes away because it dries. I think it's something about that's kind of satisfying. And speaking of satisfying, taking the tape off at the end, you just end up with that really nice white edge. Looks like it's a print, almost like it's a photo and it belongs in a frame. Just love seeing that clean edge by the end of it. Yeah, so it's a very simple painting, very simple exercise, but it always turns out so great. I love going back in and seeing my nuances of how I apply the paints, how I make the little trees. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. This was Hannah from H Clay Corner, my fairly new YouTube channel, so it would help a lot if you liked, comment, and subscribed to it. Let me know if there's any paintings or painting techniques that you're interested in me doing. Again, thank you so much.